So, I open my commissions, and a client comes to me and asks for a cute, thick model. So I make it, and they pay me, let's say, £1,500. They get the model, then somebody else, another client, comes to me and guess what they want? A cute, thick model. Well, I have one right here, buddy. That's an easy £3,000 for me. Hoi there, my name is RainHet, and I love scamming the good people of the world. The best way that I found of wasting time is making the same model twice when you don't need to. And charging less for it just sounds like a nice way to pronounce terrible business idea. There's nothing nice about rendering yourself homeless. You're an artist, for God's sake. You're borderline there by default. Typically, my commissions come from an edit of a base model I made prior. This might have been years prior. If I don't see any issues with the base, I don't tend to change it too much. Gladly, what most people want is usually quite significantly different models to one another. It just so happened that for these recent 2 commissions, I had the pleasure of barely having to edit a base to fit the reference image, because I had already gotten something very similar from the last commission. Jazz and Bunny have very similar bodies in terms of height and style and, melons. The main difference was the outfits, skin, and the thickness of the thighs, so technically I worked less on the second model. This coincidence probably saved me a few hours. Time is money, as they say. But I'd assume and expect clients to be completely understanding that I'm not exactly a millionaire and the extra £30 or so isn't going to be the straw that gets me there. It is only smart to charge slightly more than you think you need to. I have a brilliant history of severely undercharging because of my estimate being way too far off. Clients don't tend to pay me per hour that I work. They pay me for how many hours I think I will work, since I asked for the money before and not after, so people can't pretend that they're going to pay me and then dip on me. I don't think models are worth any more if they're made 100% from scratch. I make heads 100% from scratch, and textures and clothes usually. For heads at least, it's very logical and time-saving, not trying to squish and squash a head base into something it was never meant to be. It just causes problems that you don't want to deal with. Plus, my clients pay for additional emotes separately, so that'll screw stuff up by default. If I find an opportunity to use something I've already made, I usually do, as rare as this occurs. Saving time is good for everyone, trust me. There's no way I can make 12 full models a year without going crazy, so imagine how many people could potentially be waiting on me to get back to them regarding a commission. The difference between spending an extra 30 to 50 hours making a base from scratch every time is the information alone, and that clients would have to pay extra for me to faff around with stuff that most of them don't even understand or care about. In the end, you can't even tell the difference. I think that it benefits both sides, really. You get a cheaper model, and I get to spend more time playing Factorio and less time slaving away on Blender. I've never heard of a scam that benefits the scammed before, have you? Well, how much should I get paid? If it takes me a month to make a model, and I make, say, 6 to 8 models a year, and spend the rest of the year doing stuff like YouTube, other social media and Patreon models. If we take my social media money off about $250 a month, and the average UK wage, but make it 30% smaller, $20k a year, people should be paying me at least 2,000, upwards of 3,000 GBP for a full model. I don't want to hear any complaints about my £1,000 models, and not a peep if I add an extra 500 to that. I'm not trying to bankrupt people, just those of you who agree to it. Speaking of bankruptcy, my poor patrons, what legends they all are, going poor for ruthless demons such as myself. Thank you all, especially thank yous to Eeyore HeeHaw, Pixelpaggos, Sowwatt, and Spud the cat for being grey up above that we all need but don't deserve. Don't lose all your money now. Farewell!